Much more to come from Craig Levine and from Tom English. Your commentary team, though, Leanne Crichton, Willie Miller and Liam McLeod.
Craig Levine immediately showing the Scotland defence. It did look as though it was going to be a 4. We shall see how it goes once this game gets underway. The Ukraine players are in a huddle right now, as they were before proceedings in June in that World Cup playoff semi-final. And incidentally, they won the coin toss that night as well, turned Scotland and shot towards the east stand in that opening 45 minutes. And Andrei Yarmolenko scored the only goal of that first half. Scotland, though, will get the match underway. Shea Adams does so, rolls it back to McGregor, gives it straight back to Adams, who finds McGinn, who fires it forward looking for Christie, but it's booted to safety by Matvienko and collected on this near side by McKenna, who'll pick up on the left. So McTominay does begin the match in the midfield with Patterson and Tierney wide, Hendry and McKenna as the centre half pairing in front of Craig Gordon. McTominay in the middle there with McGregor and McGinn, with Christie and Adams and Armstrong trying to find the goals. John McGinn will certainly help them out in that score. Nobody's scoring more goals for Scotland right now than John McGinn is. 13 for his country as it's rolled back there to the number 2, Valery Bondar of Shakhtar Donetsk, and half the team plays for Shakhtar, a club we've come to know so well in the Champions League, as McGinn chases down the goalkeeper. Trubin, who clears out to that left flank where Ukraine will pick up with Mikhailichenko. It's a long ball down the left-hand side, and already they could be in behind here. It's a good recovery initially. Still Ukraine have it inside the Scotland box. The effort from the angle of the 6-yard area is blocked, though, and swept to safety by Armstrong. The first real paring in the teeth by the Ukrainians. There's a really good burst forward as the cross ball comes in. Tierney gets it away. McGinn, who's skippering the team tonight, can't control. That's picked up by Christie, but he runs into trouble, tries to win it back in the near side and does so, the Bournemouth man. And he'll win a free kick, I think, for handball, at the very least a throw-in as it came off Yarmolenko on this near side. But already you could see down that left-hand side it was Mikhailo Mudryk, another Shakhtar player who drove down that left flank. So much pace to burn there, and he was causing no end of problems for the Scotland defence in the opening couple of minutes here. As Ukraine collect in the middle, and it is Mudryk, and that was some run from him, Willie.
It was, yeah, really pacey, wasn't it? A good move, actually. You know, right from the goalkeeper. The flag must be up.
Well, no, Dobbik, he's in possession, he's inside the box. No flag, he's got a shot at goal here. It's blocked by Hendry. Dobbik picks up, rolls it back to the edge of the area. There's a long ranger which goes well over the crossbar, and it stays goalless in the opening couple of minutes, but already a couple of nervy moments for that Scottish rearguard as it was put over by Malinovsky.
Yeah, you can see Ukraine, the threat that they carried, Liam, last time out. It was a similar type pattern of play in between, almost full-back, centre-back. This time Scotland, they've held their line. You know, we were expecting the flag to go up.
He was offside. If he scores there, it's VAR.
Absolutely,
out,
absolutely. And that's what you need to respect with the assistant referees just now, that they will allow play to continue so that they don't get it wrong. They can always go back and look at it. But just something that Scotland need to be aware of, because Ukraine do have pace in dangerous areas.
Italian officials tonight. Maurizio Mariani is in the middle. He did Napoli's win over Milan, that top of the table clash at the weekend, which Napoli won 2-1. Here's Scott McKenna for the Scots, out to Tierney on the near side, rolls it into the feet of Christie's level with the 18 of Ukraine as he moves it back to Tierney, who was sorely missed in that quadruple header in June, particularly the game here in that semi-final. Scotland needed everyone fit and available as Patterson picks up wide in the right. Long ball, McGinn flicks on, Adams going after it, couldn't quite get there. It's a little bit last ditch from the Ukrainians as it goes out of play for a throw into Scotland on this near side. It was Karavayev with the last ditch challenge as Tierney keeps it going here. McTominay putting it forward, down goes McGinn at the edge of the box, no free kick. A long ball for Dobbik. Scott McKenna's the covering player for the Scots, and he defends it very well, and it goes out of play off him last for a throw-in on this near side for the visitors, which Yarmolenko's over at the moment, though I would imagine he's going to leave it for Karavayev on this near side. He did some very good defending just a moment ago.
Yeah, he did. You know, but McKenna showing a real good turn of pace there. For a moment I thought he was going to be outpaced, actually, but he used his physical strength once he caught up with the pace of it, and Left a little bit stranded though, a little bit open, just 1v1 with the ball over the tops. You know, I think Henry's got to look a little bit sharper in terms of getting closer.
Here they come
McKenna.
again. Mudryk, left-hand side of the Scottish box, pulls it back into the area. Dovbyk with his back to goal, tried to find a teammate at the edge of the area. Scotland able to clear their lines though. They're having to weather a little bit of a storm here in the early stages, but they get the break of the ball on this near side with Tierney, who drives across the halfway line. Forward to Christie. Christie back to Tierney on this left-hand side. Adams is in the box. McGinn's there too. So's Armstrong. Here goes Tierney down the left. Low ball cut back, but it's cleared easily round about the penalty spot. And Yarmolenko can't keep it in play on this near side. Throw in to be taken by Callum McGregor quickly. Here's Christie. And then back to McKenna.
Yeah, I mean, it's really positive stuff, isn't it, from Tierney again, down that left-hand side. You know, his only thought is to take the defender on, is to go towards the byline, is to get the cross into the box, and that's exactly what's required.
Again with a give and go to Armstrong, who goes down, challenged by Mudryk. Referee says play on. Patterson's cross ball comes in, goes away from Christie though, and it'll be picked up by Karavayev, but he's been pickpocketed by Christie. Sweeps the ball low into the box. It's half away. John McGinn picks up the scraps, turns it back into the 6-yard area. That's an easy take for Anatoly Trubin, just 21 years of age, the Shakhtar Donetsk goalkeeper, who's been entrusted with the task of keeping goal this evening for Ukraine. It's 0-0. We've played almost 6. Leanne.
Yeah, it's been a quick start, Liam. You know, both ends, both sides trying to implement their style in the game. And again here, Ukraine down this left-hand side.
Mudryk, third time I think he's managed to get space down that far side, laying it back there for Mikhailichenko. Gets the cross in. Jack Henry half away. The whistle goes. Scotland have a free kick inside their own penalty box. Scotland 0, Ukraine 0 on 6.
Yeah, I mean, it's good play from Ukraine. You know, they really are looking to try and exploit that right full-back position of Scotland, but it comes from just a lack of pressure on the ball. And I think when you've got that extra player higher up the pitch, you really need to go and stop Ukraine playing. In possession, Scotland seem to be utilising that extra player. John McGinn making those forward runs as he likes to do. Stuart Armstrong has managed to do that as well. It's just out of possession. They just need to be really careful about getting early pressure on the ball.
Well, I think in particular Nathan Patterson, he's got to realise that he's up against quite a speedy wide player, and Mudryk down that right-hand side. And you know, that's 3 occasions, isn't it? It's just been played over the top, and he's been caught wanting a little bit. Just gives yourself a little bit more depth so you can see the run of the player and also the pace of the ball.
Patterson's ball to McGinn is cut out. Mudryk runs into Armstrong, but the break of the ball goes Ukraine's way. Bricks back to Mikhailichenko and then turned back to his goalkeeper by Matvienko. Then out to this near side for Bondar, who plays it to Matvienko again. The Celtic players in the squad will be very familiar with those Ukraine players they came up against just 7 nights ago in Warsaw, and it is one of them on the ball here with Matvienko. Going back to Bondar inside his own box, decides to use his goalkeeper. Adams chases, but then the keeper Trubin is playing it short again to Matvienko. He takes it out to that left-hand side, rolled forward there by Stepanenko, fired into the feet of Mudryk just inside the Scotland half, left of the centre circle. They've given it away though. The header from Tierney, as it was flicked out to this near side, has moved back into Ukraine territory and then rolled back to their goalkeeper once again by Bondar. Matvienko short into the midfield for Mudryk, then fired out to Mikhailichenko wide on the left again. Patterson stuck with Mudryk and is out of position as Yarmolenko picks up midway inside the Scotland half. 8 goalless minutes in here. Bit of rain just in the last half an hour or so on Glasgow's south side. The pitch was well watered beforehand as well. Before that came on, slick surface as it's rolled back there from this near side by Pikhalyanok, and then shifted out to Mudryk over on the far side. McTominay's challenge with the ball breaks to Yarmolenko. Got the opener here in June. Moving up to the right angle of the Scotland box. Christie for company, rolls it out wide right there to Karavayev. Now it's back on the halfway line there with Bondar. Flicked into the centre circle for Matvienko. Long ball out to the left for Mikhailichenko. Up against Patterson. He's level with the 18-yard line. He's rolling it back the way to Stepanenko. And then he finds Matvienko. It's patient from the Ukrainians here. Bondar has it inside the centre circle, moves it to Matvienko, out wide left again. They're trying to pull the Scots around, and it's succeeding at the moment. The ball's fired across the face of Craig Gordon's goal, and it will be kept in play down on this near side by Karavayev, down by the corner flag, as that was smashed across the 6-yard line from left to right. They've ended up going all the way back into their own half here, though. 9.5 in, 0-0.
It's a bit of struggle for us down that right hand side. I think Nathan Patterson, he's undecided. You know, you've got Mudryk. Do you go with him or do you stay in the space? And he's uncertain. He's got to pass him on because he leaves, you know, the fullback the opportunity to get in behind him. So that's a real problem, I think, for Scotland just now. And I think Patterson's got to understand, you know, where he needs to go and where the danger is. And he's not been doing that so far.
That's where you just really need to use your midfielders. You know, speak to them, use them as a screen, and at times it might be on for you to step into the middle of the pitch.
There's a chance. Adams, is he onside? No flag. Adams down the left, cuts in fields, good drop of the shoulder, looks up at goal and shoots straight at the goalkeeper. He'd 3, Christie, McGinn and Armstrong if he wanted to pass. I think there's the flag gone up very, very late. The goalkeeper holds on in any case. I think they'll play on from that point, but that was more encouraging. Scotland 0, Ukraine 0, 10.5 in.
Yeah, and it's very tight, Liam, looking along the line. I'm not sure whether it was offside or not, but it's good movement. You know, he goes from in to out, Shea Adams, and he gets himself into a position. Yes, the defender loses his footing, but it's an attempt on goal.
McGregor for Christie. Tierney trying to help in the left. It's Christie, shoots, well blocked in the end by Bondar. Here's McTominay. McGinn at the edge of the area, couldn't squeeze it through. He was trying to find Armstrong. Ukraine clear, out for a throw-in, north stand side for the Scots. Navy shirts, white shorts, navy socks, Ukraine all in yellow. 11 minutes in, under the lights at Hampton in this Nations League B Group 1 encounter. It's match day 4 on that score for these two, as McTominay rolls it back into his own half for Hendry.
You know, I think Adams deserved the right to have a go for that one. You know, his movement was superb, you know, out from the centre backs, and yeah, a little bit of a slip, but I think he's got every right to do it. Just, you know, it wasn't far enough away for the goalkeeper.
Jack Hendry in trouble against Dobvik over on the far side. Dobvik rolling it back the way into the midfield. Malinovsky to the edge of the area for Yarmolenko. Good challenging. And Scotland emerge with it on the far side. Patterson in field to McTominay. He takes it forward, and then the square ball for Tierney. Not sure if it was here McGregor who was the target. In any case, Tierney has it, and now it's with his old Celtic teammate McGregor, who finds Tierney. Christie's on his bike down this near side, driving down the left flank. Cross covering is Bondar, who puts it out for a Scotland throw-in. It's certainly been better than it was in June. 12 minutes in, okay, Ukraine have got in behind a couple of times down that left-hand side, but it wouldn't be difficult to be better than it was early on in the piece in June.
You're spot on, Liam, absolutely, and I think the system, it's certainly in possession. Of course, we spoke about the moment just now defensively that Scotland can take care of and do better, but in possession, you've got those players in the wide areas, you've got those forward runs, forward passes, and it allows you to carry much more of a threat. Scotland didn't have that back in June, and they've certainly started this game a lot better.
This is Steve Clarke's 38th game in charge of Scotland. He's just 3 away from being the longest serving Scotland manager by games played since Craig Brown. Gordon Strachan currently has that honour. It's been quick fire for Steve Clarke. The Nations League games helped that, of course. Took over just over 3 years ago. Scotland come forward. Adams with the flick. Christie's in the box, left hand side, fires it across along the 6-yard line. Adams was too far forward on that occasion, and it goes out for a throw-in over there for the Ukrainians, level with their own penalty spot wide in the left. 0-0 here, 13 played.
I mean, you can't really blame Adam for not getting on the end of it. He's wrestling to actually set the chance up. He's not that far away from it, actually. I thought he was a good couple of yards behind it, but maybe if he'd have slid in, he might have had a wee opportunity to get a toe on it. Did really well to win the opportunity to set Christie up, and then went for the return and wasn't too far away from, you know, getting a touch. And if he does get a touch on it at all, it's in the back of the net.
There's Hendry forward, low ball. Armstrong right hand side of the Ukraine half. Chip balls headed away by Bondar. Break favours Scotland with Patterson wide in the right. Digs the cross out. It's knocked clear by Karavayev up into the air. Comes off the head of McGregor. Breaks Mudryk's way, but comes off Patterson. And then Armstrong back to Patterson wide in the right. Down he goes. Throw-in, I think, only here though. This is about level with the Ukraine penalty spot again over on the north stand side as Scotland attack Mount Florida in this first half. It's back with McGregor, crosses the ball in, couldn't find Christie. Good diving header away by Bondar. Here's Tierney picking up the scraps, rolls it out to Adams on this near side. Adams then back the way to Tierney, and in field to McTominay. McTominay looks up, finds McGinn, first time to Armstrong, now Christie playing it through, chance here, Patterson was almost in, it's going to go over the goal line, but I think the goal kick's going to be given, is it? No, corner Scotland, 14 in, 0-0. This has been a good few minutes for the home team.
Yeah, it's the best passage of play that we've seen there, Liam. The intricacy, the one and two touch play, midfielders linking together. As I mentioned, the forward runs, the forward passes. Scotland really are carrying a threat in these minutes.
He could have actually found Patterson earlier than he did there, Stuart Armstrong. Anyway, corner, which Armstrong will take on this near side. He scored twice in Yerevan in Scotland's last game, the 4-1 win over what ended up being 9-man Armenia. An in-swinging corner from Armstrong. The referee's not happy with the group of players who are round about the penalty spot inside the area. We played 15 minutes in the Glasgow rain. Scotland 0, Ukraine 0. Armstrong waits to take. What can he make of this? Right-footed, in-swinger, in on top of the 6-yard box, easily headed clear. Christie heads it back into the Ukraine box. Off the head of McGinn, then Hendry looking to find McGinn. Headed clear over on that far side of Mikhailichenko. Here's McGinn, can he keep it in play? Looked like it might have just gone over the line there. It has done. So a goal kick for the Ukrainians. 0-0, 15 and a half played.
Yeah, but it's good energy, it's good tempo, isn't it? It's the attitude that you want to see at a home game. You know, we've got a packed house here. It's such an important game. They can't, let the fans down the way they did the last time Ukraine came calling, and they haven't so far. And some really decent play as well. Yeah, there's been a couple of little nervous moments, particularly over the top of Patterson, but hopefully he's calmed down a little bit. He understands what he needs to do to stop that kind of attack. But Scotland are playing at a very high tempo and some slick football as well.
Yeah, good play by McTominay in the middle there as McKenna finds Tierney wide on the left, midway inside the Ukraine half, as Tierney rolls it back to McGregor. He's going to go back onto the halfway line for Hendry. He's now playing in Italy with Cremonese on loan from Bruges. It's back out wide left on the touchline with Tierney. He goes back to McKenna, who's playing English top flight football for the first time this season with Nottingham Forest. Out to Tierney on the left, bends the ball in. It's going to beat everyone though, Armstrong will get onto it right hand side of the area. Armstrong lays it back to Patterson, first time cross, McGinn's header's wide, good few yards wide, but it's another good bit of build-up play by Scotland in the 17th minute, where it remains Scotland 0, Ukraine 0.
Yeah, and it comes from the Scotland press initially, Liam. They're doing it again just now. It's almost like a 4-4-2. John McGinn is joining Shea Adams, and they won the ball back in midfield, and it's the patience that they're showing as well. There's no stress, and Kieran Tierney, he's got a huge influence in that as well. Brilliant play, just looking to try and find those forward passes, but not rushing it, not forcing it. And as I say, they're carrying a threat, but they need to keep it up, because you need to try and get on top of this game when you've got as much luck.
This is a problem for Scotland, and down the left goes Mudryk again. He's in space, it's been closed down. Mudryk, he's inside the box now, dancing away from a couple, pulling it across, and it's cleared on the 6-yard line by McKenna. Breaks the way of McGinn. He's looked up there and he only saw Shea Adams, so he likes to go back to Patterson. And then McGinn knew the challenge was coming, and he's won a free kick. Just about 8 yards away from the edge of the centre circle. The first yellow card of the evening has been shown as well, and it's to a Ukraine player, and Scotland have a free kick, which is, as I say, inside their own half, but 6 yards inside their own half, as Stepanenko has shown the yellow. I don't think there was much doubt about that.
It's still a little bit concerning down our right hand side. I think Nathan Patterson, I would suggest, and you would hope that the manager would be trying to get the word on just to stay there, just to maybe even allow Kieran Tierney to be the main man going forward down this left hand side, because that's 4 or 5 opportunities that they have had. They haven't taken any of them, but it's very, very concerning.
Yeah, I think the energy numbers that you've got, Liam, middle to front, you can probably afford to keep your full-backs in.
Great touch by Armstrong there. Back to McGinn as Scotland attack the Ukraine box. McTominay under pressure, goes back to McGregor, and now it's Tierney, left-footed. Big switch out towards Armstrong. It's going to be an easy header away by Mikhailichenko, and out for a Scotland throw in the far side. Can the Scots profit well there on top? Because they are on top right now, almost 19 minutes in. Scotland 0, Ukraine 0. Here is Callum McGregor inside the centre circle. Out to this near side for Tierney. He's getting an overlap from Christie. Looks up at the box, left-footed. It's too deep though. for McGinn, but it'll be picked up again by Armstrong on the far side. Armstrong into the box, delicate check, Christie's header over the bar. What a chance, all it needed was a little glance, and it probably put Scotland in front. He got too much on it though, too much meat in the header. Over the bar it goes, and it stays goalless, almost 19 and a half in.
Yeah, it's good play again though. It's an overhit cross from Kieran Tierney initially, but Stuart Armstrong makes it good. And the support run from Christie's excellent. He gets far too much on it, Liam. Just a glance and header it is all he's needing to take it beyond the goalkeeper. But as I say, confidence is huge at this point of the game, and Scotland are doing the right things just now, and they need to continue to feed off it, but just be switched on with these transitional moments. Ukraine now getting a free kick in our half.
Yeah. And the young goalkeeper nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's made the wrong call. He's never getting there. He comes out. He's nowhere near the ball. If Christie just gets that delicate header, it nestles into the back of the net. 21 is very young for an international goalkeeper, Liam, isn't it? And he showed his inexperience there.
I thought they'd play Andrei Lunin, who's Thibaut Courtois' understudy at Real Madrid. Tonight, their normal goalkeeper Bushkan isn't in the squad at all. He was the man who kept goal for them here in June. And they've plumped for Anatoly Trubin, who is the #1 goalkeeper at Shakhtar Donetsk this season. And Scots will be looking to put some pressure on him as the evening goes on. 20 and a half on the clock, nothing each. And it's back with the aforementioned Donetsk keeper. He's it at his feet, and he knocks it just outside his own box for Matvienko. Maybe the next stoppage in play, we'll see what Craig Levein, former Scotland manager, former Scotland defender, has made of it. The ball's out to play over on the far side. Craig, what have you made of the opening almost quarter? Try again.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, I've been fairly pleased with the way Scotland have been working their way into the match.
I'll get back to you because McGregor's through. It breaks Armstrong's way, beaten away by the keeper, and the rebound comes off Christie and goes out the far side as it's whipped back in. But it's an easy take for Trubin. Flags up anyway. It stays 0-0. Sod's law, Craig. I come to you, and out of nowhere, Scotland are almost in front.
Well, at least Scotland were attacking when you did come to me. And I have been making notes in the last sort of 10 minutes or so, Liam, of good opportunities for Scotland. So I think Ukraine started the game slightly better. They were intent to run in behind the forward players and did so regularly for the first 10 minutes. But I believe that Scotland are now on top in the match. And from 13 minutes onwards, Shea Adams needs to throw himself at the ball that comes in from Christie, and I think he could score. There's a cross by Patterson and a free header from McGinn. I mean, it was in the middle of the 6-yard box. I mean, he didn't get enough on it. It was a great opportunity to score.
And has Christie got too much on his?
And yes, exactly. I was just going to say that, exactly the opposite. He gets too much on his. But the point being that now it looks like we're patient in our play, and we're getting bodies forward to allow us to get players into the box. So we've had a couple of good crosses into the box already that ended up with 2 headers that we might have done better with. But for me, I'm much happier with the last sort of 10-15 minutes than I was with the beginning.
It's a problem here for Nathan Patterson, though. He's being worked on at the moment. He's been getting his game at Everton. Last time he was in a Scotland shirt, he was well out of the first team picture in the club he joined in the last winter transfer window. But they're stretching something out there. Well, it could be a problem. I know that they've obviously got Aaron Hickey on the bench who could play there, in fact did play on that right hand side against Ukraine in June.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting up onto his feet now. It seemed to be just below the knee, I think. What you would hope for in that situation is it's just a knock. Maybe he's caught a stud. It's not any ligament issues.
It does look more ligament-like, the way he was being assessed.
And Scotland down to 10 at the moment. Hendry manages to get there ahead of Mudryk and turns it back to his goalkeeper. They've got Tony Ralston on the bench as well. I think they're going to have to make a change here, and it looks as though it's Hickey who's going to come on. And Patterson's night's done, which is a blow. 23 and a half played. I know he's had his troubles defensively so far this evening, but he's such a good footballer.
Yeah, I mean, if it is, ligaments and, it was round about the knee area, then you can't take any chances. You just got to take him off and make that change. He'll be sorely disappointed sitting down there at the far side, and you're right, it looks as though Aaron Hickey's been invited to take his place.
Yeah, we did have Anthony Ralston as well, but I suppose out of the two, Hickey's playing English top flight, and Anthony Ralston made his first league start of the season in the weekend defeat to St Mirren for Celtic. Here's Yarmolenko for Ukraine. It's a shame about the stoppage for two reasons. Then Patterson obviously is injured and having to come off, but Scotland are on top. They're down to 10 right now, and it's Ukraine trying to take advantage of that. Hendry gets it away though from the edge of his own penalty area. The Scots pin back at the moment. They can't make the change till the ball goes out. Yarmolenko just shifting it infield there for Pikaljanok, who's going to get it back here to Yarmolenko's midway inside the Scotland half. Back the way it goes there to Bondar into the centre circle, and then collected here by Malinovsky. Out wide left for Mikhailichenko. North stand side, works the 1-2 with Malinovsky. Back it comes to Matvienko. Still Scotland down to 10. Ukraine trying to stretch them. 25 in the clock, nothing each. It's Karavayev on the near side, infield to Yarmolenko. Back towards Karavayev. It's gone out of play though, and that'll be a Scotland throw, and now they'll be able to bring on Aaron Hickey, and it's 11 against 11 again. Nathan Patterson still receiving treatment over on the opposite side of the pitch as Hickey comes on following his summer move to Brentford in the English top flight from Bologna in Italy. Already so much experience. He's 20 years of age now. Of course, played in that Scottish Cup final for Craig's Hearts at the age of 16 back in 2019. And Nathan Patterson, I'm afraid, is going to be put in a stretcher. I don't want to put any more pressure on the issue that he has. So you would think that would be Patterson out of the next two games as well. Incidentally, tonight Scotland have 4 players starting who have booked, who would miss the Republic of Ireland game here on Saturday night. McTominay, McGinn, McGregor and Adams, and all are booking away from a suspension as the Scotland supporters give Nathan Patterson some comfort as he is stretchered along the far side touchline there, and make his way all the way around. Let's hope it's not too serious. Here's Yarmolenko for Ukraine, and then out to the left-hand side. Of course, Aaron Hickey had a terrible night against the Ukrainians here last time. As the left foot ball comes in, chance here, Dovbyk hits it back, and it's cleared by Armstrong. Well, Dovbyk tried to nod that back rather than nod for goal. Looked like a brilliant chance for him. 27th minute, Scotland 0, Ukraine 0.
What's he thinking about? I mean, I can't understand the striker getting himself into that position. There's a tug on him, the boot's up high. He's trying to knock it back, but surely you go, maybe he's just put off a little bit, is he?
Kieran Tierney does just enough, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's all over him. He's been very, very physical.
Yeah, I think you've still got to have a go as a striker. You've got to try and, hit the target with that one. A really good move again down our right-hand side. We've been, picked out down that side. There's too many gaps, too many spaces, and a good cross into the box. And I thought the striker should have done much better than he did. Yeah, I can understand he's trying to knock it back to one of these players that is coming in support, but for me, he's got to try to get that header on target.
Sorry, I think I said John McGinn was a booking away from missing the next game. Christie is the other Scotland player, along with Adams, McTominay and McGregor. It's Ukraine in possession. It's picked up here by Pikaljanok, and then back the way to Bondar, who plays it to Matvienko. The applause you're hearing is still for Nathan Patterson, whose stretcher's made it over to the south side of the stadium, the main stand. He'll be immediately away for treatment, maybe even hospital. 28 minutes played. Goalless to Scotland collect with Adams. He's found McGinn at the edge of the Ukraine box, just knocking it back the way to Armstrong. Forward towards McGinn. McTominay had run into the box, but McGinn couldn't find him. And Ukraine clear, little header away by Malinovsky out to the far side for Mudryk. Back the way to Mikhailichenko, and it goes out of play for a Scotland throw-in. Over on that far side, taken quickly by Hendry. And now it's McGregor. 28.5 on the clock. McGregor finds Tierney, left of the centre circle in the Ukraine half. It's a side foot ball back to McKenna. Short to the right of the circle there for Hendry, back to Scott McKenna. And he rolls it out to Tierney on the near side. Christie ahead of him. Field to McGinn, who's skippering Scotland tonight in the absence of Andrew Robertson. Of course, he's Aston Villa captain these days as well. Really good challenge in there by Stepanenko and Callum McGregor, as Ukraine emerge with it, but it comes off McGregor's toe. Back towards his own goal though, as Tierney tries to get onto it midway inside his own half. Tierney's in trouble with Dobbik, but McGregor helps him out. He goes back to McKenna, and now it's with Craig Gordon, who plays it short outside his box to McTominay. And now it's with Callum McGregor, who dinks it out to this left here for Tierney, right in front of Alexander Petrakov, the Ukraine coach. Stepanenko, the beneficiary of a loose ball by Christie now. Mudryk driving forward, here he goes, he's so quick, he goes down. Challenge from Hendry, who's wagging his finger, but the referee's going to give Ukraine a free kick in an attacking position here, about between 25 and 30 yards from goal, left to centre again. It is the pace of Mikhailo Mudryk that's causing all kinds of problems for the Scots on that left-hand side. He's popped up left centre area here, and it's a clumsy challenge by Jack Hendry.
It is. I mean, there's plenty of blue jerseys back. I think it is a free kick, but you know, Mudryk he's a player that you don't want to play against, believe me. He's got pace, he's got directness, he gets that ball at his feet, and all he wants to do is drive at you. If he looked up, all he could see is 5 blue jerseys in front of him. But did it deter him? No. They wanted to take him on, and he's won a free kick, a little bit far out, you know, but still within shooting distance.
Yep, wet night. Looks like Ruslan Malinovsky of Atalanta is going to take this. Nobody else near him. He lines this up the Scottish wall at the edge of the D. Here comes the Ukraine number 8, fires it for goal. It's blocked by the wall though. As it breaks out to the left, Mikhailichenko goes back the way to Matvienko. Just beyond the half-hour mark, just about tick on to 31 minutes. Scotland 0, Ukraine 0. As the visitors pick up left of the centre circle, it's a long ball towards Yarmolenko, headed away by McKenna. Dobbik does well to just knock it back the way, and then Mudryk finds Malinovsky, and it's back with Mudryk, and he rolls it to the left for Mikhailichenko, forward to the left angle of the penalty area. There's a chance. Mudryk driving back onto Hendry, has to be careful, and he goes behind for the goal kick. It's Scotland 0, Ukraine 0. Another couple of nervy moments as the Ukraine coach Petrakov applauds his players. It's been better from them since the stoppage for the Nathan Patterson injury.
Yeah, they've grown into the game in the last few minutes, Liam, that's for sure. And Mudryk, he carries a threat, everything that he does, whether he's with the ball or without the ball. But Hendry does really well in that occasion, just uses his body, steps across and sees the ball out. And those are the moments I think Scotland, both in possession and out of possession tonight, have been spot on. You know, they've really tried to test Ukraine, but when they've lost it, they're working tirelessly to win it back. But at times you just need to respect that you're up against some real good players, and that is what Mudryk is. So you just need to continue to deal with that threat as best as you possibly can.
Back with Hendry, who finds McTominay just outside the centre circle, forward to Armstrong, who goes back to Hendry. Hendry taking his time over this 33rd minute of the game. No goals. Scotland really need to be looking at 7 points minimum from this triple header if they are to finish top of this Nations League section. There's another way of doing it. They could, if they are to lose one of them, make sure it's the Irish game, so long as you win the 2 Ukraine ones. 6 points would be enough if that is how they are assembled. As it comes back the way to the keeper. You really want to be picking up the 3 points this evening. The Irish are here on Saturday night, and then it's a trip to Krakow next Tuesday evening for the return against the Ukrainians. So Ukraine win this, the group's done. Assuming they beat Armenia and Yerevan on Saturday afternoon. We'll know how that's gone by the time this one kicks off. The Irish game here on Saturday night, as Hendry collects just inside his own half, right of the centre circle, forward to McTominay. Now it's with McGregor. Moves it back to McKenna. 33 and a half on the clock, nothing each. McKenna out to Tierney on this near side. Moves it infield to Christie, the goal scorer in Belgrade on that oh-so famous night in November 2020. As Hendry shifts it out to the right there for Hickey. There's proper feel of the ball for Aaron Hickey after replacing Patterson. And now it's with McKenna. Out to Tierney again on this near side touchline. Scotland trying to get back in the groove. They've been out of the groove since Patterson's injury. It's McKenna just inside the Ukraine half, to McGinn. His first time ball to Tierney's cut out, but he gets it back now, finds McGregor. And it's with Kieran Tierney again. He rolls it infield to McTominay. 11 minutes left in the first half, 0-0. Here's Hendry pushing it forward to Armstrong, who turns it out to Hickey on that far side, and he has his legs whipped away from him by Mudryk. And that's a Scotland free kick about level with the edge of the centre circle. North stand side, it is Scotland 0, Ukraine 0, 35th minute.
It's good though. I mean, I think it's possession. It's not really going anywhere, but they're moving the ball well. They're moving, Ukraine about too. They're having to think about their positional sense. Their shape is pretty good though defensively, so far anyway. But I think Scotland's showing a lot of patience.
It's away there by the Ukraine keeper, Trubin, but out for a throw into Scotland on the far side. McTominay's over at the moment. We head towards the final 10 of this first half. Tominay's going to leave it for Hickey. Aaron Hickey hasn't looked out of place at all in the English top flight this season. It's moved back there to Hendry. He goes out to the right hand side for Aaron Hickey. He goes back to Craig Gordon, the edge of his own box, lifts it forward with the right foot into the midfield over the head of Armstrong. The header forward there by Matvienko, and then breaks Ryan Christie's way inside the centre circle. He moves it out low, out to Tierney on this near side, level with the edge of the centre circle. Tierney back to Christie, infield for McTominay, short with the ball to McGregor though. One back there by Bukalyanok. He gets it back immediately here, the Dnipro midfielder. He shifts it out to Yarmolenko, who we've mentioned hardly at all in this first half, which is good news for the Scots. It's a big switch of play out to that left-hand side for Mikhailichenko. He finds Matvienko left of the centre circle, and eventually, via Bondar, it works its way to Karavayev, who's gone long looking for Dovbyk. A header from Hendry, but there's an offside flag. Goes up against Artem Dovbyk, and it stays Scotland 0, Ukraine 0 on 36.
Yeah, it's a good line from Scotland defensively, well organised. The job that McTominay and McGregor are doing defensively in midfield as well, it looks very balanced. You know, it's taken an awful lot for Ukraine to play through them. They're having to go round the outsides if that's the problems that they've been causing. But Scotland are doing well. You know, this is certainly looking as close to the game plan as it could have done, other than the goal. And I think looking at the goalkeeper, Liam, a couple of moments he's had, scary moments at 3 occasions. He's been tested with his feet. Distribution doesn't look good. Coming for a cross, as Willie mentioned, he was lost, and a shot on goal, he parried it right back out into the box. If anything, Scotland just need to try and test them more.
Just a third cap for the 21-year-old in goal for Ukraine tonight, as Hickey turns it back to McKenna, midway inside his own half at walking pace, just about up to halfway, past to Adams, but Adams' first time ball was out for a throw-in. I haven't seen much of Che Adams in the game, as Ukraine pick up a throw-in on this near side to be taken by Karavayev. 37 minutes played, no goals as yet, as that's turned back by Bondarte's keeper. Long from Trubin out to the left hand side. Mikhailichenko, wasn't a great ball. McTominay's read it well, nicks it back, passes it forward to McGinn at the edge of the penalty area. He goes for the lob, but it's well over the bar, and it all breaks down, and it stays Scotland 0, Ukraine 0.
Yeah, a little bit more composure. I think he's obviously going for the lob, but it's never on, is it? I think he got a little bit too excited there, John, and needed just to calm himself down. Just outside the box, the ball bounces up, and yeah, he's gone for the lob, but the goalkeeper's only a couple of yards off his line, so it's never going to happen. But they've fallen out, haven't they, since the Patterson injury? Scotland have fallen out of the game. There's not too much wrong with their game, not suggesting that, but they've certainly lost control of it.
Stepanenko though driving forward, he got it from Yarmolenko, infield to Dovbyk. Back the way it comes into the midfield, where it's turned out to the left by Malinovsky, and then a chance to cross, and Craig Gordon beats it away at the near post, breaks back to Stepanenko, who surely fouled him again. He did, and that will be a free kick. It was Mudryk who picked up on the left, and eventually Craig Gordon had to beat it away at his near post. 38.5 played, Scotland 0, Ukraine 0.
Yeah, it's another warning shot, isn't it? They carry that threat. Ukraine, they're all over Scotland, middle to front. Any mistakes, any time that Scotland give the ball away, they're quick. They play forward quick, and they go and finish the attacks. It at least ends up with an attempt at goal, or a moment that Scotland need to defend their box. And those are the moments that Scotland really need to think about and take care of centrally in the middle of the pitch.
Ukraine in possession. They have it with Mikhailyanok, who will turn it out to the left flank and then back the way to Matvienko. Chip ball into the Scotland half. It's cut out by Hendry. Out to the touchline for Hickey now. McTominay gets it back there and moves it infield here to McGinn. McGinn finds Christie. Looks up at the Ukraine box, drags it back away from his marker Yarmolenko. Right foot cross comes in. Adams has time to take a touch on the chest. Now he's got his back to goal. Rolls it out wide right for Armstrong. Back to Hickey, who finds McGregor. Ukraine have got bodies back now though. Armstrong's chip delivery comes in, headed down into the ground there by Bondar, and Ukraine clear. Henry's little cushion header for Tierney, heading towards the final 5 minutes of the first half at Hampton. It is still nothing each. McGregor square to Hendry, or rather Hickey, forward to McGinn, out to Armstrong, chip ball, finds McGregor. He couldn't quite get it under control though. Ukraine clear, only as far as Armstrong though. Tierney makes his move to his left. It's now with Kieran Tierney. Back to Armstrong at the left angle of the Ukraine box, taking it forward, taking it towards the byline. His cross is cut out though by Bondar. Now Yarmolenko has it for Ukraine down by his corner flag. Has Armstrong won a corner? No, goal kick's been given. Stuart Armstrong can't believe the decision that the referee's come to there. Anyway, we're in the final, just about 4.5 of the first half. Scotland 0, Ukraine 0.
I actually think the referee was caught in two minds because he felt there was a foul just before it, Willie. Did you see it down in front of us here from Stuart Armstrong? It should have been a corner, but the referee's played advantage, and I think he's tried to level things up.
Yeah, and their shape is pretty good defensively. I think, you know, Scotland doing all they can to try to break it down, but there's not too many gaps appearing, is there? So far anyway, they look pretty solid. Certainly, you know, since the change had to be made for Scotland, I think Ukraine have had the upper hand.
3 of that 4-man defence, 4 if you include the goalkeeper out of the 5, are club mates, know each other's game so well. The only exception being Dynamo Kiev's Karavayev on this near side. There's Callum McGregor for Scotland, won it back well off Yarmolenko. Forward to Christie on the halfway lines, a long ball looking for McGinn. Too much on it, it skips off the greasy surface, and it's now back at the feet of the goalkeeper Anatoly Trubin. Scotland 0, Ukraine 0 here on Sports Sound. Nations League Matchday 4 for these two in League B Group 1. Ukraine a point ahead of the Scots. It was a real bonus for the Scots actually when the Republic went out to Łódź in Poland and held the Ukrainians to a draw. It would have absolutely been a must-win tonight had Ukraine beaten the Irish that night. As McTominay wins it back for Scotland in midfield, but just getting onto it there was Mikhailyanok. And it's now back in Scottish possession with Armstrong wide in the right infield for Stepanenko. It's a poor ball, but it breaks McTominay's way at the edge of the box. Oh, too much on it for Christie. Could he have shot himself from the edge of the area? Christie picks up, still alive here to Tierney. Little ball into the box. Armstrong, poor touch. Goal kick. Scotland 0, Ukraine 0. 42 on the clock. Just missing that little bit of magic in that final third of the pitch right now are the Scots.
Yeah, I think they just need to be a bit more brave, you know, take on more shots. Scott McTominay, you can hear the noise inside the stadium, Liam. That's what the fans thought of it. You know, he's got space, he's got time, just get the touch out your feet, won't force the goalkeeper to make a save. It's that final bit, it's the distribution in the final third that's letting Scotland down. You know, Ryan Christie's working tirelessly at times. His final ball is just missing. Just now John McGinn the same. Che Adam very limited in his options and chances that he's had.
Christie was caught down below us by Mikhailyanok. That will be a free kick to the Scots just inside their own half. 2 minutes left of this first half, or at least of the 45. The Scots made a mess of the last Nations League a couple of years ago in the wake of the Belgrade euphoria. They were beaten by Slovakia and Israel. I meant the Czech Republic, who they'd beaten twice. In theory had done the hard bit. Finished top of the group. As the long ball finds Adams. McGinn can get it under control. Neither could Armstrong on the edge of the box, but he's managed to force it forward to Adams, and then the little pinball works Ukraine's way this time. Dovbyk plays it back to Yarmolenko on this near side. Yarmolenko's long ball, misunderstanding with Dovbyk. Come all the way through to Craig Gordon from the veteran who's playing his football now in Abu Dhabi, having left West Ham in the summer.
He's not played much of a part though in the game, has he, at all? Down the right hand side, it's been pretty timid for him. Ukraine, all their threat really has come down their left-hand side with the pace of Mudryk in particular.
Here's Tierney on this near side, not having to face his clubmate Zinchenko tonight. McGinn tries to play it back to Christie, but it's straight to Mikhailianok instead, and Ukraine have it back. Little dink ball from him forward to Dovbyk, being marshalled by Hendry on the halfway line. Stepanenko picks up, plays it to his left for Malinovsky. Final minute of the first half, Malinovsky comes forward. Mudryk almost got onto it. Really important intervention by Aaron Hickey, and Scotland able to get it clear as Adams holds off his man beautifully, and now he's driving at the defender, and he's brought right out of the equation is Che Adams, who's writhing in pain on the deck. The yellow card's out here. There was a couple of Ukrainian defenders back there, otherwise they might have been looking at a red card, but Adams has felt the full force of that challenge as we go into the first of 2 minutes of injury time. At the end of this first half, Mykola Matvienko absolutely wiped Adams out.
Well, it doesn't get much more cynical than that. By the letter of the law, is it an order on off? I don't think so, but at the same time, you know, it just takes Adam totally out of the game, just barges into him.
I beg your pardon, it's Bondar rather than Matvienko who's been booked for that. I mean, it's cynical. It's a rugby challenge.
Yeah, it's a poor challenge at that, because he's hit him with some amount of force as well, Liam, right to the midriff, into the ribs. I'll be surprised if Che Adams gets up from this, because it's one of those knocks with that amount of force and power. He really has caught him sweet. You've got to say Che Adams does so well though. Initially the physicality that he holds up the ball, he manages to get the spin. There's a real look in his eyes. He's got a belief that he can get beyond his opponent. He moves the ball to the right hand side, and it's a real sore one. You can see the discomfort that he's in as he lies on the floor.
The thing about that is that you see players getting sent off for much, much less. That is actually assault, isn't it? There is nothing else in Bondar's mind other than taking the player out, just wiping him out completely. Okay, there's Ukrainian defenders behind him. It's not a goal-scoring opportunity, but really, that should be an order off in my book. It should be.
It's probably the type of challenge as well that's classed more like a head injury as well. Because
sorry, Leanne, I just wonder if the VAR is going to have a look at this.
I think they would need to look at it, Liam. You know, but I think especially in that type of position on the pitch, we're seeing it again here in the rerun in front of us, and it really is a poor challenge.
There should be an attempt to play the ball. There is no attempt to play the ball whatsoever. It's really poor defending, to be perfectly honest. If Bondar goes back the pack, I think he can control that situation, but he makes his mind up to go forward. He takes that step forward. He's not getting anywhere near the ball, and he just wipes Adams out.
Well, brilliantly, Che Adams is back on his feet, and it looks like he's going to be okay to continue. It's almost half-time anyway. See what he's like in the changing room during the 15-minute interval.
I just hope he doesn't go and try to shake his hands. It really... Bondar, he's walked past. I thought... I know what I would have been saying to him.
Well, they're obviously not looking to upgrade this to a red. We would know about that by now. So Scotland have a free kick. It's just beyond the midway point of the Ukraine half. It's right of centre. We've played the 2 minutes of stoppage time. Obviously, we're almost on the 3 minutes now, but obviously that has to continue and have some time added on top of it because of the injury.
I'm just wondering here, Liam, why they're not allowing Che Adams back on the pitch, because the player was booked.
They're both down here, Bondar and Adams. Yeah. Anyway, it's 10 against 10 for this. They're both going to come on when the ball's played. It's Armstrong and McGinn over the free kick. And it's left to Armstrong, who plays it in. McTominay got his foot to it, but he can't do anything other than put it behind for the goal kick. And it will stay Scotland 0, Ukraine 0 as the boos ring out to greet Valerie Bondar's reappearance on the pitch. Che Adams comes back on as well, so at least Adams is able to continue, because it didn't look that way, like he was going to be able to. It's an offside that's been given there, I think, in the end.
Yeah, that's just a strange decision though, Liam. Scotland win a free kick where their central striker is almost through in goal. The player gets booked, they both have to leave the field of play, and Scotland are forced to take the free kick without their central striker on the pitch. I'm not sure where the advantage, if any, comes for Scotland in that moment.
Cross ball for Dovbyk, too much on it, and it's going to go behind for a goal kick on the reverse side as Ukraine try to attack in the closing seconds. of the first half. And overall, Stevie Clarke's got to be pretty content with the performance. He's certainly got a heck of a lot more than he got in the playoff semi-final here against the same opponents, albeit it's a kind of much changed Ukraine team personnel-wise that they've put out there. Obviously the goalkeeper and Zinchenko both unavailable. There's a few who started the game in June are all on the bench tonight as Tierney picks up, but that is half-time here in this Nations League encounter. Goalless, much better from the Scots than it was the last time the Ukrainians were here. McGinn and Christie with headers, one went wide, one went over. Stuart Armstrong tested the goalkeeper with an effort which Truban saved. And these are a couple of dodgy little moments. Scotland have had some dodgy moments themselves down their right-hand side, the Ukraine left, where Mikhailo Mudryk was causing a heck of a lot of issues for Nathan Patterson in the early stages of the game. Patterson went off injured. Shea Adams was clattered right at the end there, but he looks as though he's going to be able to come back out for the second half. Patterson's game over. He was replaced by Aaron Hickey. But the Scots are in a contest this time at least. Half-time at Hampton in this Nations League B Group 1 encounter is Scotland 0, Ukraine 0.
Scotland in the UEFA Nations League.
It's absolutely brilliant from Scotland!
This is Sports Sound
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Well, there's no question better than it was on the 1st of June when Ukraine were absolutely and utterly dominant. Scotland being an awful lot better, but you have to say that Valerie Bondar is the luckiest man inside Hampden Park to still be taking part in this game. Not because he denied a clear goal-scoring opportunity, it was the ferocity and the intensity of the assault that he perpetrated on Shea Adams. And what is the point in having VAR if they're not going to look at that and come to what would, Tom English, surely have been the right decision, a red card?
Absolutely. Forget about goal scoring opportunity.
Totally
irrelevant. This is a tackle, and I want to see it again. But my feeling, having watched it, is that in rugby that's a straight red.
Well, that was
because it's a high tackle.
Yeah.
It puts the player in risk. Anything around the neck area, no attempt to play the ball whatsoever. In rugby, I'm pretty sure that's a red. Now, if it's a red in rugby, it's sure as hell is a red in football. So Bondar is extremely lucky. The officials, I think, have absolutely bottled it. They've absolutely bottled it. See, they have this mindset of, is that a red card because of goal-scoring opportunity? Not, is it a red card because it's a shocker of a tackle? And that's where their headspace is at. Shea Adams is lucky because that could have been really, really unpleasant.
Actually, we saw him as he felt the turf. I mean, he was almost in spasm. It was as if the shock waves were reverberating through his body because of, as Leanne said, I think we all thought that was going to be it because he got clattered in the ribs. But the elbow was up, the arm was up into the side of the face as well. Horrendous.
This is why I think football has a long way to go to catch up on the whole brain injury thing. I'm not saying it's a brain injury here, but it could have been. It could have been. Rugby is making a lot of strides on this front. That's a straight red, and nobody's arguing with it in rugby. Football is just kind of way behind. It's called. You've got to protect players, and that one. I think Shea Adams. I hope he's okay. I'd like to have seen them check him a bit longer. But it's the referee and the officials have let Shea Adams down very badly there.
Actually, they were all over the place for the last 5 or 6 minutes. They were getting everything wrong in the last 5 or 6 minutes. And the whole bizarre scenario where the player's been booked, obviously, but he's been booked, and Shea Adams is kept off. He's not allowed back on to try to play some kind of part. In the attack. Very, very strange. Right, Craig Levein, I'm assuming we're not having a huge debate, are we, about Bondar should have been sent off?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that challenge, there was such ferocity in it that for me it was an absolute certain red card. Now, see if he's just trying to block him, what he would have done would have gone on the half turn and put his arm across his body and just let him run into it and brought him down. That's how you would do that. That's how you would give away a free kick. You wouldn't face the guy straight on and stick your elbow right in the middle of his chest. I mean, he was travelling at some speed, wasn't he, Shea Adams? So I would tell you, if that had caught him in the throat, he's in big trouble. And I thought that was a really, really dangerous challenge.
The rules have got us all. You know, I mean, my first instinct is that's assault. But my second instinct is it's not a goal-scoring opportunity, so he shouldn't get sent off. A completely wrong way to look at it. If it's assault in the field of play, it's an order off. But that's where we are in the game, and I'm sure that's what the referees are then thinking. They're then thinking, was it a goal-scoring? And no, it wasn't, because there was 2 Ukrainian players, you know, behind. So it's well outside as well. But in football terms, if you did that anywhere else in the park, you'd probably get sent off, would you not?
But it's the ferocity of the challenge for me that is the thing, that because he could have been seriously hurt there. He could have been seriously hurt.
Just watching it again there, even in slow motion,
it's ridiculous.
Because he's gone high, upper chest. Yeah. But then that puts the neck at risk because Adams is just being shunted backwards. Like it's a red card. The referee is there obviously to officiate, but to protect the players as well. And he has not protected the player. He's not protected Shea Adams there.
Tom, the doctors and physios treat that as a spinal injury. Yeah. You know, you could see the assessment, holding on to the head. They're making sure that he's compos mentis, that he's got full consciousness. Surely that bit for me is where the referee goes, that's been a bad challenge. You know, even if you've not seen it properly yourself, or you underestimate the ferocity of the challenge, you've got a chance to look at that again. And I think in those moments when you see that type of assessment as well, you've got to have a duty of care that you look at it again. And I know there's recovering defenders, but I actually think Shea Adams takes a brilliant touch and he gets beyond. And I back him in terms of his pace. In the direct play that he was shown there, I thought he only had one thing in mind, and that was getting towards goal.
The thing is, Leanne, take that away. Seriously, take that away, because for me, that as soon as that challenge was made, that's a red card. No matter what happened after it, that is definitely a red card, and the referee has made a complete mess of that.
But do you not think where it was in the pitch, and the whole reasoning, I think, that the referee has made that decision to show a yellow card is because it's in an attacking position. If that happens anywhere else in the pitch, is that not a definite red card? Because you're just taking a player out. Do you not think that going through the referee's mind, which went through my mind, it's not a goal-scoring opportunity? Right. Well, and I think that's the difference.
Perhaps.
There's been a lot of debate, though, Willie, about those types of challenges, though, in recent weeks since the new season's begun. There's been, moments like that. Are players making any attempt to play the ball? Is it, it was all previously known as a professional foul. I don't think you can even really call those types of challenges that now, because there's nothing professional about that. No, that is
the understanding of professional foul is maybe to take someone out gently. As they're going by you, maybe tripping their heels or pulling their jersey, but
no intent to play the ball and endangering your opponent is
exactly
got to be classed as
anyway. Can we get on with talking about?
I just felt it was just because it was
15 minutes here, so
I think because it was so late in the half and it was so prevalent in our mind. It had to be discussed, and I still can't quite get my head around why VAR was not. But no, VAR would have been involved because they checked all the major incidents. So someone's looked at that and hasn't felt it worthy of bringing it to the referee's attention. It's just utterly bizarre. Anyway, over the 45 minutes, Craig, what did you make of how Scotland played?
Well, I just wrote down the stats here, and they're accurate because it's off the BBC website. So possession 51-49 to Scotland. Shots for Scotland 8 and for Ukraine 2. Shots on target 2 for Scotland and 0 for Ukraine. Now, isn't that a hell of a lot better than what we watched here?
Yeah, not half.
Yeah, I think they've been really good, and I think Scotland have almost, but not quite got into periods of domination, if that makes sense. They've controlled the ball in certain areas of the park, maybe not quite so much in the last third, but the control's been good. And the game has swung back and forward to a degree. The start of the game, I do believe that Ukraine were on top. But after that, there was some really slick football from Scotland. I think the work rate of the players has been fantastic. We're making challenges. We're playing in an aggressive manner, and I don't mean, ridiculous challenges or anything like that. I just mean that we're actually closing down with real intent. And we've won the ball high up the field a number of times. We have had good opportunities to score, 2 headers in particular, and that the ball that was flashed across the face of the goal that I felt that Shea Adams should have I'd like to see again, but maybe should have thrown himself at it. The downside for me is young Patterson getting taken off, and the physios were doing the sort of knee ligament test, and that was the thing that worried me a little bit, you know. And so hopefully it's not anything too serious. I mean, he's just got himself into the Everton team, I believe, hasn't he? And
he's been excellent. He's been really good for him.
So that's tragic, really, if it is a serious. I don't want to say too much, but
no, I mean, we clearly we all hope that it turns out that it's not as serious as it perhaps appeared. From one young Scottish talented fullback to another, Hickey's come on, and I mean, to be fair, both have had their troubles over on that side of the field, haven't they?
Well, Hickey, I'll tell you what Hickey's done that's slightly different from Patterson. Patterson's a much more attacking. He almost plays like a winger at times. Patterson. Hickey's more likely to hold his position than Patterson is. So, okay, you maybe don't get the plus side, which is the stuff in the last third, but what you do get is a better defensive unit. Yeah. And I felt when Hickey played here before, and I think it was McTominay played inside him, was it? It
was, yeah.
And Hickey was getting caught too high. McTominay wasn't communicating, so that didn't really work. But I think, to be fair, I think Hickey's probably much more confident player now than he was then. He's playing in the Premiership in England and doing well. So I think he's done well. I do, hope so much that young Patterson, the injury isn't too serious.
Yeah, totally. The Ukrainians have certainly caught the eye at times as well, Tom, haven't they, coming forward? Mudryk in particular going down that left side.
Mudryk has been a real. I mean, he must have got in behind on that side 3 or 4 times. Very pacey. As you were saying in commentary, just so direct.
Yes.
Just so direct. There's no messing about with this guy. Gets the ball and he runs straight and hard. He looks a terrific player, but they're just containing him just about.
His end product maybe wasn't as good, Tom.
Yeah, but I think I give a lot of credit to the defending. Scotland some of the scramble defence has been very good. Like Scotland, I think they're doing an awful lot well. Yeah. They're doing an awful lot well. They're imposing the game on the Ukrainians. The work rate is high. They're competing physically. They're creating chances. But at critical times, in a word, accuracy or lack of accuracy. Like 3 times in the last 7 or 8 minutes, they had little moments. McTominay does well to intercept and plays it into McGinn. Poor first touch from McGinn, and he tries that kind of hasty lob. Just after that, Christie miscontrols it in space near the goal, and then just after that, McTominay overhits his pass to Christie. These are all good. These are good moments, good opportunities. But that just overhitting passes, underhitting passes, heavy touches. That's what's stymieing Scotland at the moment, because a lot of the rest of it is very good.
It has been so much more enjoyable to watch than it was back in June. Can they find that little moment, that little bit of magic that will help to unlock Ukraine, a little bit of quality in the final third of the field?
Richard, it's like it's almost just stalled, hasn't it? It's not. It's not any worse than that.
No, I think we're quite happy. It'd be nice to be playing against the Ukraine side that would have been down to 10 men, which they should be. Following the challenge that we've discussed. Highlights in the telly tonight, incidentally, on Sports Scene on BBC One a little bit later on, to be able to see all the action then and make up your own mind. The subs down there just going through their paces and warming up, or keeping themselves warm. Of course, the one change made already, Aaron Hickey on for the injured Nathan Patterson. And the players are beginning to make their way back out. First out, Malininovsky for Ukraine, leading the rest of his fellow teammates out. And here comes Scotland. The captain tonight, John McGinn, back out, and the rest of the players in his wake. Don't think any changes at the moment. Although, are there really just 10 out? I think there's only 10 players out there. So, oh no, there's one still to come. As I look down, there is one further player there, although I think it is a change, is it? That is about to be made for Scotland. In fact, I don't see Che Adams. There we go. Last man out, and thankfully able to resume in the second half. Goals in half-time. Ukraine here at Hampton take on Scotland. Liam McLeod.
Once again, the Nations League linked to qualifying for a major tournament, this time the 2024 European Championship in Germany. As Ukraine make a change, Stepanenko is coming off. And I think they're going to bring on Sidorchuk, who started the game here in June. And is exactly the change that they have made. Yeah, the playoff berths for Euro 24 will be first allocated to each Nations League group winner. And if any of the group winners already qualify for the European Championship finals via next year's qualifiers, then it will go to the next best ranked team of the league. So even if Scotland don't finish top of this group, there may well be a lifeline. But they really have to win at least 2 of these games for that to be the case if they don't finish top. As Ukraine, all in yellow, get the second half underway, going right to left. Scotland in the navy shirts, white shorts, navy socks. A crucial 45 minutes of football coming up here at the National Stadium as the boos ring out for Valerie Bondar, who was booked right at the end of the first half for that challenge on Che Adams as he rolls it back to his goalkeeper. And it's a short ball there to Matvienko. To Bondar again. He knows how he's being received anyway. His first few touches in the second half. Just Yarmolenko, who just flicks it into the centre circle there for Malinovsky. They've lost it though. Here's McGinn winning it back for Scotland. Gets it from McGregor. Now it's towards Christie. He'll pick it up and he'll knock it back onto halfway for Tierney, but his pass is given away straight to Malinovsky. And now it's Sidorchuk playing it back out to that right hand side for Karavayev as we tick into the second minute of the second half. And some dramatic nights in the Steve Clarke area under the lights at Hampton. Most notably those matches against Israel and Denmark in the World Cup qualifiers. As it's picked up here by the goalkeeper Trubin again. The Scotland lineup, Gordon is in goal. It's Hickey on for Patterson with Hendry, McKenna and Tierney across the back. Well, McTominay, McGregor, McGinn, Armstrong, Christie and Adams, as Armstrong wins a throw-in down on this near side for his team midway inside his own half. Scotland 0, Ukraine 0, minute and a half into the second half. Willie Miller.
I think just more of the same, isn't it? You know, and maybe as Tom kind of spoke about during the half-time interval, a little bit more accuracy in and around the box, but the same energy, the same tempo, the same confidence, the same belief. You know, everything's been good, but you know, Ukraine are a very good side as well. We haven't spoken much about them, but they can certainly play and they're well organised and they're very physical too.
Great touch there by Hickey. It's now back with McKenna at the edge of his own box. Sidorchuk is the Dynamo Kiev captain. He's come on for the second half. Stepanenko was yellow carded in the first half. And Scotland pick up with Tierney down that left hand side. Short ball square infield to McTominay. He's in the centre circle. It's a poor pass from him though, but it bounces back off Sidorchuk and falls for McGregor. It was lucky. Hickey forward to Christie. Good footwork from Christie, and he'll win the free kick as he was brought to the deck there by Malinovsky. Sidorchuk's challenge. He's such a towering figure. It will be a Scotland free kick to be taken by McGregor. 48 played, nothing each. McGregor short there to Christie, back to McGregor, then to Christie again. Christie couldn't quite find McGregor. Ukraine won it back, sliding in was Malinovsky. And it's picked up by Yarmolenko over on that far side, right of the centre circle. Decides to turn back out towards the north stand side. Ukraine shooting right to left in this second half towards the west stand end of the stadium. And then it is Bondar squaring it to Matvienko. Out to this left hand side for Mikhailichenko. Cross halfway, it's a poor touch actually down on this near side by Malinovsky, and it breaks to Armstrong, who finds McGregor. Back to Armstrong midway inside his own half here, and it's back with Hendry. There were spells in that first half where Scotland enjoyed some serious pressure and 3 or 4 really good chances. Actually seeing a replay at half-time of the one that was fired right across the face of goal towards Adams by Christie. It was a good one as Tierney takes it out, carrying it over the line over on the far side. 49 played, Scotland 0, Ukraine 0. Haven't seen that much of Tierney down that left flank in an attacking sense.
No, you're right, Liam, and I think defensively though it's not a bad thing from Scotland, because as I mentioned, I think keeping your 2 full-backs in at times is more defensively sound, and it allows the players in front, middle to front, that freedom to go and play and express themselves without the fear of getting done in the counter. And we'd spoken about that in the opening minutes, and I think Scotland have taken the foot off the gas like that. Both Hickey, since he's come on, and Tierney have remained underneath the ball. They haven't looked to go beyond just as much. Whether that's tactically what they've looked to do, or if it's just the way that Ukraine are playing at times that it's stopping them from getting forward.
Ukraine, they do play with the two wide players, so you would think that they would get pushed back, and it would be sensible, just to be a little bit cautious in going forward.
Scotland with a throw, and Tierney, long throw down the line, comes off a Ukrainian head. Scotland advance in yards. Throw in to be taken around about the level point of the penalty spot over on that far side. The Scotland left as they attack the goal to the right in the second half. Steve Clarke takes a swig from his water bottle down below us. His opposite number, Petrikov, 65 years of age, at the edge of his technical area, and it's allowed to bounce, but it bounces kindly for the goalkeeper, who's got his gloves on it. 0-0, 50.5 on the clock.
Yeah, it's a long throw-in that comes in. Doesn't do enough to trouble Ukraine, certainly, and Trubin manages to come and collect under no pressure.
And after beating the Scots, they lost 1-0 in Cardiff to a Gareth Bale goal in the World Cup playoff final. Did Ukraine. That's their only defeat in their last 13, though, since losing 4-0 to England in the quarter-finals of Euro 2020 in Rome. And they've also won 5 of their last 6 away games, the only exception being that game in the Cardiff City Stadium, the biggest of all for them. And there's the Ukrainians with a long ball towards Dobbik. Gordon comes out and gets there, but it's going to be hoisted into the box by Mudryk, and it goes well wide, and that will be a goal kick. That's a really nervy moment. Jack Hendry just doesn't look comfortable, chasing back towards his own box. Craig Gordon decided to help out, and he manages to get there and get the ball away to safety, but that could have gone really horribly wrong.
Honest, I don't think you need your goalkeeper's help in that situation. I think all you're going to do is run into him. And in fact, they did run into him, but they were fortunate that the ball was actually cleared by Craig Gordon. He's 22 yards out or something, he has to come out.
I did just think, though, Willie, as the pass was played, is it going to beat Henry? And he's caught wrong side. Whether Craig Gordon's thought that and has thought I better go and help him out, but certainly was a tricky moment.
But the only thing is, it falls to Mudryk, and he tries to lob.
Yeah.
And if he catches that right, it's a goal. He just didn't catch it right. The goal was gaping. And Craig Gordon's still 18 yards out, trying to get himself back to park.
It's Matvienko turning it back to his goalkeeper. 52 played, 0-0 here in the Nations League. Ukraine in possession with Karavayev, who knocks it back to the edge of his own box for Bondar. Walking pace, the right centre back. He moves back out to Karavayev, he goes back to Bondar. Square ball for Matvienko, the edge of his own box, out to this left-hand side for Mikhailichenko. Infield for Sidorchuk. Long ball forwards, cut out by Hickey. Finds McTominay. McGregor back to Hendry. Hendry to McGregor. And McGregor takes it across halfway, left of the centre circle, out to the left-hand touchline for Tierney. Tierney decides to pass it back the way to McGregor. Infield to McTominay. Back on to halfway for McKenna. Scotland quite happy at times tonight to do that. If there's nothing obvious ahead of them, they're more than happy to go back the way. As Tierney picks up, squares it infield to McTominay, first time to McGregor. 53 goalless minutes on the clock. Tierney runs into trouble in the shape of Karavayev on the far side. Ukraine in possession with Yarmolenko. Forward to Mudryk. McKenna all over him. Mudryk on his own at the moment. Gets support out on that far side. Yarmolenko just turning it back the way. And Karavayev to Bondar. It is 0-0, 53.5 on the clock.
Scotland haven't started this half as well as they did the first, because they're not asking enough questions of Ukraine defensively. Yes, they're showing patience. Yes, they're keeping possession. But you take Bondar as an example. He's on a yellow card. That challenge came very late on in the first half. There's been no questions asked of him. Never have they been able to isolate him in a 1v1 situation again. And I think that's where Scotland, just for all the hard work that they're putting into this game, they're not getting the rewards.
Yeah, driving down this left-hand side is Mikhailichenko. He moves it back to Mudryk. Low ball to the edge of the Scottish box here Chance perhaps for Dovbyk, who goes down right in the edge of the box, told to get back to his feet by the referee. It's McTominay's challenge. Hampton held its breath for a moment there as Armstrong wins a free kick for handball down below us. 54.5 minutes played. Scotland 0, Ukraine 0.
He went down the stages though, didn't he? I think the listeners will understand what I'm describing there. You know, big tall striker, Dovbyk, and you know, he's barely touched as he's running away, and he's almost losing control of the ball.
Like he's on fire, isn't it? Stop, drop and roll.
Yeah, he just thinks he's got a wee opportunity again, a free kick just outside the box, and goes down, referee not contact.
Scotland's Nations League record coming into this one has played 13, won 8, drawn 1, lost 4. 2 of those 4 defeats were costly ones at the tail end of the last edition. Of course, one of them in Dublin in this edition. It's McGregor, plays it all the way out to the left for Tierney. Tierney back to McGregor, left of the centre circle, infield for McTominay, who goes back to McKenna on the halfway line. Short to his left is Callum McGregor again. Here's McKenna, 10 minutes into the second half, it remains 0-0. McTominay with a little ball forward to Adams, who runs into trouble, and Ukraine have it back. It's Matvienko who goes back to his goalkeeper, having won it back off Adams. Cleared by Trubin out to that far side. Bouncing ball, Yarmolenko controls expertly and plays it back into the midfield for Pikalyanok. Scotland pinch it back though, wide on the left. Well played by Ryan Christie's a little buzz bomb as Christie, as McTominay takes it forward. Good play, again out wide left, Christie with a little bit of space. An early delivery looking for Adams, too high. Flicked away by Mikhailichenko. Picked up at the edge of his own box by Mudryk. He's going to get it back immediately from Malinovsky, and now he's driving forward, rolling it, looking for Dovbyk. Back comes Jack Hendry, slides in, times it perfectly. And that was Dovbyk driving forward, as he did in the 3rd minute of stoppage time, as the offside flag was up, in any case against him. That was exactly the area he was in when he ran in and scored the clincher in June. Hendry did well to get back at him anyway.
Yeah, he did, you know, and I think he's tried to hold his line for as long as he possibly can, Henry, because he knows he's not getting close enough to him to go and pick him up. So he's brave in that sense, and it pays off in the end.
Aaron Hickey infield to Hendry, who shifts it back to Scott McKenna. McKenna left of the centre circle, just up towards halfway, rolls it low with the left foot out to Tierney on the touchline. Infield to Christie. Christie then looking for a bit of support as he goes down. No free kick, but he bounces straight back up and emerges with it. Brilliant tenacity from Christie. Here's McTominay, short to Armstrong. Hickey wants it on the right and gets it now. Aaron Hickey level with the edge of the D of the Ukraine box. Back to McTominay. Square to McGregor. 57 on the clock at 0-0. It's Ryan Christie. Tierney's an option out wide on the left. That's where it goes. Here's Kieran Tierney now. Takes a touch, crosses into the box. Diving header away. Only as far as McGregor, who got the Scotland consolation against Ukraine, but he doesn't control, and it's picked up by Sidorchuk and then rolled out to the right. Karavaev's going to get it back here. Steps away from McGinn. It's a poor ball by Karavaev, collected by Tierney. Left hand side, back to Armstrong, and he shoots straight at the keeper for the 2nd time this evening, and it stays Scotland 0, Ukraine 0 as we approach 58 minutes. Better!
Yeah, much better, Liam. Good play down the left-hand side from Kieran Tierney. And Stuart Armstrong, I would need to say though, I'd like to see more bodies in the box, but Che Adams makes the run towards the back post. Stuart Armstrong just holds his area as he arrives from midfield late, and he catches it with the left foot. He just doesn't quite get enough on it to take it away from the goalkeeper, but much better play from Scotland, certainly ending with that attempt on goal.
It's just pressure, isn't it? And you know, I think Ukraine, they want to play the ball out. They're desperate to play the ball out, but not on these occasions, and giving Scotland the opportunity, you know, to break it down, to create the chance for Armstrong. And it does everything just about right. It's almost, you know, maybe like a couple of chances in the first half. It's almost right.
Callum McGregor picks up. Ukraine have been guilty all night, actually, of giving the ball away cheaply in areas where Scotland could profit from, and that was another occasion, albeit the attack has gone. It's Tierney back to McKenna on the halfway line. Now it's Hendry in the centre circle, forward to his right for Armstrong, who floats a switch of play out to that far side, which Yarmolenko lets go out for a throw-in deep inside his own half, a bit level with the Ukraine 6-yard line over on that far side as we approach 59 minutes at Hampton, with the scoreline still nothing each.
I think if you know the way Ukraine are going to play, and you know, in their own final third they want to play the little passes, then you can go with confidence and try to you know, put them under pressure, break them down, and give yourself an opportunity to steal the ball off them in a really important area, and we've done that on a number of occasions and keep doing it.
McGinn's effort from the edge of the box is charged out. McTominay trying to keep this alive for the Scots. He's in well to prod it forward to Armstrong. Back to Hickey. Central area for McGregor. Fires it out to Armstrong wide in the right. Little ball in field. Dummy from Hickey. It's now with McTominay. Shuffles onto the right back heel for Armstrong. He's in! And he blazes it high over the crossbar. And Steve Clarke turns and looks up at the sky in frustration. Another glorious chance for the Scots. Armstrong had done the hard bit, but he fluffs his lines and skies it on the hour mark. It stays Scotland 0, Ukraine 0, but that really should be 1-0. All it needed was some composure.
Yeah, that's a chance. That's certainly the chance of the game so far, Liam. Good play, good patience as well inside the box, and good footwork from McTominay. He's patient enough to see where Armstrong's going to go. It's just that reverse pass with the heel, and as you say, it's just composure. It just required that bit of composure, a bit of quality, and actually if he'd have caught it with a bit less contact, he probably works the goalkeeper. He just gets too much on it and lifts it high over the bar.
It does so well too, Stuart Armstrong, doesn't he? Picking it up and playing it into McTominay, and then, you know, having the intelligence to make the proper run, because he was going to his right and then he checked a little bit to the left, and then you know, when it really mattered, just calm yourself down, get your head over it. It's easier said than done, absolutely understand that, but big chance.
And here come Ukraine looking to make him suffer some. Chip ball for Mudryk, but he slips, and that goes behind for a goal kick. It remains 0-0, 61 minutes. Passed up a lot of opportunities tonight. Remember Celtic a week ago against half of this Ukraine team passed up so many big chances against Shakhtar Donetsk in the Champions League. And Steve Clarke was ready to celebrate there. Armstrong, okay, he is under a bit of pressure from one of the defenders who's sliding in on him, but if he picks a corner, picks a side of the goalkeeper, he probably puts Scotland 1-0 up.
Yeah, he almost looks as if he's anticipating contact to come or a challenge to come. I don't think he realises he's going to have as much time to compose himself as he did, and obviously it's easy for us to say it.
Here goes Hickey, little ball forward, Armstrong, he's in the box again, cuts it back to the 18-yard line, away it goes, but only as far as Hickey, blast wide. Corner, it's taken a touch. 0-0, 61 and a half. But the Scots are knocking on the door here.
That's brilliant again, isn't it? You know, that high tempo press, directness as well from Hickey taking on his man, you know, being determined. But it's again a lovely little pass in for Armstrong, and it's just the strike from Hickey comes in, takes it with his left foot. He's not too far away, actually, takes a little deflection.
In swinger from John McGinn coming up down in this southeast corner of the stadium, left-footed towards the back post, where it will drop inside the 6-yard area. Yarmolenko will clear, and that's going to go out for a throw-in over on that far side to the Scots. 62 in, 0-0.
You're allowed to do that nowadays, just hold on to an opponent, and that's what's happening at the back post. Referee does nothing
Scott
about
McKenna,
it.
he's literally manhandled.
Here's a chance though, McGinn chips it in, Adams off the crossbar! Adams heads off the bar, and it stays 0-0. Here's Christie, Scots come again, McGinn, early ball, Adams, saved by the keeper! With the feet this time! How many chances? Che Adams is in 2 in 10 seconds, one off the bar. This time he heads down at the goalkeeper's feet, and it comes bouncing back off the toe of Trubin, back into his gloves. 63 played, Scotland 0, Ukraine 0. They've done everything but score in the second half. In fact, in these last few minutes.
The goalkeeper, Liam, I looked at him in the first half and I thought, how good is he? But in actual fact, the second one is a brilliant save, because Adams does everything right. He puts it down into the ground, he tries to make it really difficult, but the goalkeeper reads it and he gets a brilliant foot to it and keeps it out. But Scotland, the noise in this stadium, you can really feel the energy that a goal might just be coming.
A couple of changes are going to be made here by Ukraine. We'll get to them in just a moment. One of them is going to be Yaremchuk. I think Sigankov's the other. We will get to that in a moment. They both started here in June. Well, are the Scots going to get better chances between now and full time? That's the question.
If they do, it's got to be a goal, Liam. It's got to be. I mean, that's 3 huge chances. You know, in the space of what, maybe 5 minutes or so, the Armstrong and certainly the Che Adam, both the chances came within the space of less than a minute, I would suggest. And he's so unlucky. I mean, the header's good. It's the underside of the bar. And then, as you said, yeah, and good goalkeeping. I thought from Tubin and goal. He's in the right position. And, you know, many times we say that about Craig Gordon. You just have to be in the right position.
He get at the edge of the box, rolls it to Adams, left-hand side of the area, can get in a stride, little back heel, but it comes right through to the keeper again. As it was moved towards Christie, it bounced off the Ukrainian defender, and back it goes to Trubin. And it remains 0-0. Ukraine about to make their double change, but here comes Yarmolenko, shifting it out to his right, and a chance here for them to break with Alexander Pikalyanok. He's unchallenged at the moment as Ukraine launch a rare chance at the Scottish box here on this near side. It's going to be flicked in by Mikhailchenko. He's going to get it back. It's inside the box. Hickey with a really good intervention. He breaks McTominay's way and he sweeps clear. Scotland 0, Ukraine 0 on 65. Here's Mudryk now picking up wide on the left. Up against Armstrong. Skips away from Armstrong. It runs into McTominay. He's been brilliant tonight. McTominay looks up looking for Adams. He delayed it too long. Adams would have been offside in any case there. Pass needed to be earlier, and it's picked up by Malinovsky over on this near side. 0-0, 65 and a half. And a game you feel Scotland need to win. Yes, they've got 2 other matches, and a draw tonight means they're still in the group, but it means they'll have to, in all likelihood, win both their matches, including against the Ukrainians in Krakow next week.
When you're watching Che Adams with the second one, with the head, he's got his hands in his head when he sees the goalkeeper saving that. You know, and it's a split second actually from him heading it down and watching the goalkeeper save it.
Yeah, I mean, the questions were asked in the first half about the 21-year-old in goal there, but he's playing Champions League football. He's playing the Ukrainian top flight. Obviously, there's something about him. His first choice for his nation this evening as Christie picks up and turns it out wide left for McGinn. And the throw-in goes Ukraine's way. It's level with the edge of the D of their own box. Now they will make their double change. And they're going to bring Dovbyk off, and Yaremchuk is going to come on. He's now playing with Jack Henry's parent club, Club Bruges. He was at Benfica last season, Yaremchuk, and he scored the second in that playoff semi-final. He replaces the man who scored the third in Dovbyk. And the other change sees Yarmolenko, who scored the first that night, come off. The experienced Yarmolenko, his 110th cap this evening. He's replaced by Dynamo Kiev's Viktor Tsigankov, who will come on. Scored the winner against Spain in a Nations League game in 2020. That was Spain's first defeat in a couple of years. Tsigankov, as he comes on for his captain Yarmolenko. Heading in towards the final quarter of the game, Craig Levein is with us, former Scotland manager. Just wonder what Craig's making of the match and Scotland's prospects of going on to win it. What a chance, double chances for Adams and Armstrong.
Yeah, I think that there has been a definite uplift in the tempo by Scotland, and I mean, it's so frustrating, isn't it?
There's a chance for McGinn driving forward, but Ukraine managed to get it half away. Here's Adams keeping it alive. He's got it back. Armstrong hits it wide. How many chances did he want? Stuart Armstrong lying spark out on the deck, looking up at the dark skies above Hampton. And somehow he's missed with a header, puts it wide right of the goal. 22 to play. Scotland 0, Ukraine 0.
He needs to score. That's the bottom line. He needs to score. You know, you can look back at his previous chance, lacked a bit of composure, lashes at it and puts it over the bar, but this one, the delivery's brilliant, the timing's excellent. I think he just closes his eyes, Willie, when he gets up there and hopes for the best.
It looks like it, you know, because the pace that he's going at and the quality of the cross, and he's meeting it perfectly as well, but I think he just loses that concentration. And you know, it's not a difficult opportunity for him because everything's going for him. When you get that ball cut back like that, you're coming in with pace, you meet it with the forehead, it should end up in the back of the net. It's incredible. 4 opportunities tonight. If we don't take this game, then we probably only get ourselves to blame because we've played well enough, we've created the chances, we just haven't taken them.
This is, you were talking about before proceedings, where Scotland have not had a prolific goal scorer really at any real point. Anyway, let's get back to Craig. He was cut off in his prime there. Craig, what do you make of the last 20 odd minutes here? What are you thinking? If you were manager, what would you be thinking down there?
I'm worried if I'm the manager, because all that happens when you get these, here we go again.
Ukraine giving it away. Here comes Ryan Christie rolling it forward. McGinn goes down inside the D. Referee's not interested in the appeals as it goes back to the goalkeeper again. Craig.
Every time you come with me, we get a chance. Good. Just keep doing it.
Here you go. The floor is yours. Callum McGregor looks for Kieran Tierney. It's headed half away. Scotland are all over the Ukrainians here. Tierney out to Christie, pulls it back. Adams, he's inside the box. His shot's blocked. And now it's Tierney. McGinn's done well, wins it back. Goal! Finally, one of the chances goes in. And it's Steve Clarke's go-to man for goals, who strikes a hammer blow to the Ukrainians here. McGinn into the bottom right corner of the net. The keeper ain't saving that one. And it is Scotland 1, Ukraine 0 with 20 minutes to go. That is massive.
It's incredible, actually, because it's the hardest opportunity that we've had, and it's real tenacity by John McGinn, because they're looking for a free kick as he wins it. He turns that body of his, you know, that big rear end that he's got, and he gets it in front of him with his left foot as he takes on the defender as it falls to him in the box, and he drills it into the far corner. Precision, absolute precision. Fantastic strike from the go-to man.
Leanne, as Craig says, it's the gorilla looking after its young. That was the perfect example of Craig's analogy there. Steve Clarke, arms in the air. That's a huge goal.
Yeah, it's John McGinn doing what John McGinn does. Listen to the noise in the stadium. I've been saying it all night. It's electrifying. The touch is brilliant. He uses his body so well, but he puts himself into those areas that he gets these opportunities to go and score. And what a finish it is. To show that composure, that accuracy, to find the bottom corner with pressure, Liam. We've missed so many chances, 4 chances, 5 chances, but John McGinn, he stepped up. Absolutely brilliant.
Mr. Reliable is John McGinn. Flashed it past the goalkeeper for his 14th international goal. Well, Craig Levein hasn't been able to finish his sentences here. He told us to go back to him. It worked out perfectly there, Craig. It's a massive shot in the arm for the Scots.
I just cannot believe that after all these missed opportunities, the hardest one of the lot. I mean, he's no right to protect that ball on the edge of the box, and how he stays on his feet, it's almost incredible, you know. He's so strong, but then when he shoots, I mean, you couldn't have placed the ball any better into the side netting with real power. The goalkeeper had absolutely no chance at all. But I'll tell you what, Scotland have played unbelievably well in the last 20 minutes or so. I'm almost breathless myself here.
Well, it doesn't matter what the sport is. It can be rugby union, it can be tennis, football. Scottish teams, Scottish players, Scottish sportsmen and women do not do it the easy way. They never have done. As Tierney wins it back in the middle of the pitch here, driving forward. There's more goals in this for the Scots. Ukraine look bereft at the moment. Adams knocking it forward, chasing after it's McTominay. Mikhailichenko's going to get there first, and he clears his lines. As that goes out of play, and we're about to hit 73 minutes. Double change coming up for the Scots. Dykes and Fraser are waiting to come on.
But the heads could have went down, Liam. You know, you're playing in a game like that. You've created and you've had 4 absolutely wonderful chances to put this game to bed, and Ukraine, you know, you can hardly see a way out for them when Scotland have put the pressure on them and created these opportunities. And you know, it's such a difficult chance for John McGinn. He's got to create it himself. He knocks someone, you know, who's stronger and taller than him to the ground looking for the free kick as he turns there, and the accuracy of it is magnificent. It's what they deserve, no less than what they deserve.
It's the fact he's anticipating it though, Willie. Here we go again.
Yeah, here's Che Adams to the edge of the box, thought about the shot. He's on his own for the moment. Christie arrived at the left-hand side of the area. Instead, he turns it to his clubmate Armstrong, and now McTominay goes down. He's still on the deck trying to get back up. He goes down again. The referee's not interested in giving Scotland a free kick there, though. And that's a dreadful ball. Christie, Adams is in here. Left-hand side of the 6-yard box. He tried to pass it back to Christie. Just the momentum there just evaded him. It's an atrocious pass there by Sidorchuk. Here's McGinn. McGinn shoots from distance, corner. Ukraine all over the place. This is barely the same set of players who were here in June. 74 played, Scotland 1, Ukraine 0.
Ukraine are absolutely rattled here. You know, they don't look the same side at all. They're lacking composure. How many times they've given the ball away in their own half? I thought when they made the double change it would have been a different element to the performance, where they would have really tried to turn Scotland early, but they're still trying to pass it out of their own half. Scotland have latched on. The press is brilliant. Midfielders are all over it. Shea Adams is much more involved now as well, breaking up play, linking the game. It's really good to see.
17 attempts at goal by the Scots, 5 on target, just 3 for Ukraine. Shots on goal, regardless of whether they're on target or not. Ukraine haven't tested Craig Gordon really tonight so far. There's still 15 minutes plus injury time as Scotland take a short corner. Hanging fire with the changes. McGinn sweeps the ball in with the cross. The header's won by McKenna, but it goes onto the roof of the net over the bar, and it stays Scotland 1, Ukraine 0.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. He's under pressure. You know, he's got a marker that's putting him off. He does get above the Ukrainian defender, but really difficult to get that one on target. It's a tight angle as well. He's disappointed, but you know they're playing with that belief, I would say. You know, the second half, and when they get in the dressing room after this, as long as nothing silly happens, then they've got to take this performance as the benchmark, this second half performance in particular, is the benchmark of what you have to do at Hampton.
Yeah. Sorry, Leanne, I'll just go through the subs here. So Armstrong coming off. He looks a bit annoyed with himself. Little wonder he's replaced by Ryan Fraser. He gets his first cap in 11 months since the game in the Faroe Islands. And Lyndon Dykes comes on to replace Shea Adams, who received that body blow literally at the end of the first half. 1-0 to the Scots then, 76 on the clock. What do you do at this point? Because it's been so dominant as an attacking force. Do you just keep doing that rather than sit back with the lead?
Absolutely, keep going. I think that the substitution in Ryan Fraser is one that I thought, even at 0-0, maybe about 60 minutes, I'm looking at it thinking, could you go and change it now? Because it's crying out for a winger. You know, Ukraine are on the ropes. They're not defending well. They're giving the ball away relentlessly. Go and put them in the back foot as much as you possibly can.
Fraser gets it to Hickey. A brilliant footballer, Ryan Fraser. If he can get a run of games, he's played his last 3 for Newcastle as Hickey wins the free kick. He's brought down on this near side, and it's a Scotland free kick. Alexander Petrakov, the Ukraine national coach, down there with his hands on his hips. He can't believe what he's seeing here. Last time his team was here, it was an at times mesmeric performance. They've got nowhere near that kind of levels today, as Scotland prepared to take this free kick. McGinn on the near side, left-footed free kick being flighted in from the right flank, bends it into the box. It's headed away there by Malinovsky. Scotland still have it wide on the left, though it's been taken away from them momentarily. Callum McGregor gets the cross in, just too high there for McKenna. Then Tierney shoots, and it's saved low to the right by Anatoly Trubin at the expense of a corner. Well, he almost was surprised that Tierney's effort reached him.
He was surprised. I mean, that's a fabulous save. He didn't see that until the last moment. It come through a ruck of bodies there, and it's not particularly well hit by Tierney either. It's bouncing, you know, through bodies off the ground. He's actually going to his left-hand side. He's got to change his momentum altogether to save that one.
In comes the corner. The keeper punches it away. Scotland looking for a second that might just seal this. Christie with an up and under towards the edge of the box. Dykes wins the header. Comes Tierney's way, and he loses it, and Ukraine emerge with it. They were 1-0 down to the Irish in their last Nations League fixture with the Ukrainians. Fought back, got a draw, but they've given it away yet again. Here's Dykes. And it's rolled back to Hickey. Ukraine performance has been akin to the Scottish performance in Dublin, let alone the one here in the playoff semi-final. Scotland gave the ball away relentlessly that afternoon. Now here, it's been an entirely different team just about. Brilliant win there, the header from Dykes. Seldom loses a header in a national jersey. Dykes forward, right hand side of the box. Fraser's cross comes in, beats everyone, but it'll be picked up by Christie wide on the left. Good run by Christie, and he wins his team the corner. Brilliant stuff again. 79 played. Scotland 1, Ukraine 0.
what's brilliant just now, Liam, is that every single player in a Scotland jersey is in the same page as each other. Every pass at the intercept, every moment, every bit of positivity, there's a player that reacts to it. They're on it, they're supporting each other, they're looking to back up the play, they're looking to go beyond, and that's exactly what you need, because Ukraine just now are there for the taking. Scotland 100% can get a second goal.
In swinging corner from the far side from Fraser. Dykes wins the header. Goal! That should do it. Lyndon Dykes has only been on the pitch for a few minutes, and Hampton Park explodes once again with delight. Straight from the corner, the substitutes combine, and Lyndon Dykes might just have headed Scotland to 3 crucial Nations League points, and it may just send them top of this group. It is Scotland 2, Ukraine 0 with 10 to play.
And thoroughly deserved as well. I mean, they've totally dominated Ukraine. They haven't got an answer for it. It's well worked. The corner kick just dinked into the near post. The movement of Dykes, a perfect header. He knows exactly where he wants to go. That back stick, he hits it towards there. There's nobody on the line, nobody to clear it, and he just flicks it with a head without really looking. It's an instinct. It's a goal scorer's instinct, isn't it? It's a striker's goal, that, and the little winger's pretty happy as well.
It's a brilliant header, Willie, absolutely brilliant, because he goes across the front and he flicks it, as you say. It's instinctive, but John McGinn actually manages to get himself out of the way, whether he instinctively ducks or knows that it's on target. But superb, and absolutely what Scotland deserve. They've been relentless this last 25-30 minutes. They've been all over Ukraine. Positive substitutions as well from the manager. At 1-0 you could look at it and think, do we see this game out? Do we try and take care of the ball? No, he's put a striker on, he's put a wide player on, and he's really looked to try and finish the match.
7th international goal for Lyndon Dykes. Here's Mudryk for Ukraine up the other end. 9 minutes to play. Mudryk rolls it back to the edge of the D. Yaremchuk gives it away this time. Just about every Ukraine player's given it away, I think, in the second half. Long ball towards Dykes is won in the air by Matviyenko. Rolled out to this near side for Malinovsky. So Dykes up to 7 for his country. John McGinn joining Maurice Johnston on 14 Scotland goals with his crucial strike earlier. It's picked up in the midfield here by Pikalyanok as Ukraine look to get something back into this game. Scotland leading 2-0. The bigger the scoreline, the better. Of course, could come down to head-to-heads by the end of it. At the end of the group next Tuesday evening. Long way to go, though. Here come Ukraine down that right-hand side. It's Yaremchuk at the edge of the penalty area, a little back heel, but Christie comes back and does a brilliant defensive role there. He's just a massive bundle of energies, Ryan Christie. It's been outstanding. They all have as Dykes wins it back here. A couple of players all over them, including Sidorchuk, and the referee's going to book him and give Scotland the free kick just inside their own half. It is 2-0 to the Scots with 8 to play.
That's outstanding from Lyndon Dykes. It looks simple stuff, it's hold-up play from your striker, but it's probably one of the hardest jobs at times to do in a football pitch, is to get your team up the pitch, and he does so well. Bodies around him, uses his body, uses his head, everything that he can possibly get to get his team an advantage, and it just slows the game down. Ukraine just had a little bit of momentum there. It was probably as far up the pitch as they had been for some time. It just looks here, maybe if Scotland have got an injury concern, is it Kieran Tierney over in the far side, Liam? Perhaps a change required. Craig Gordon certainly indicating to the bench.
Yeah, let's hope he's okay for the 2 massive games that are to come. There's a couple of changes for Ukraine. Zubkov come on for Pikalyanok, and the other change is Inatenko, who has come on as well. So last couple of changes for the Ukrainians. Kieran Tierney's back on his feet, looks as though he's going to be okay. 83.5 in the clock. Scotland leading by 2-0. McGinn and Dykes. How important have they been for Steve Clarke since he was able to rely on the 2 of them for goals in this Scotland national team? Lyndon Dykes won 8 of Scotland's 17 points in that last qualifying campaign. A little dummy doesn't work this time. He was looking for Fraser and returned the compliment for Fraser's corner. It was planted into the net by Dykes' header. Yaremchuk just turning it out to this near side for Zubkov. He's lost it. Scotland have it back with McGinn. McGinn driving into a pocket of space, goes down. Scotland free kick, despite the protests of Malinovsky. 84 played, Scotland 2, Ukraine 0. The Scots had a heck of a lot to prove tonight. Well, they proved it and some, as Greg Taylor and Kenny McLean wait to come on in a double change for the hosts.
It's a recognisable performance now, isn't it? You know, I think the Ukraine performance and the Republic of Ireland performance, it wasn't recognisable. You know, the work that Steve Clarke's done and the form that the players have showed, the team have showed, the understanding, the way they defend, the way they go forward, the tempo, the energy, the belief just wasn't there. But it's been there in bundles tonight, that's for sure.
Tierney and Christie coming off, and Scots changes, as I say. We'll see Kenny McLean come on for his 26th cap. He's, of course, frustratingly had to miss out on a couple of big camps recently, including the one in the summer there. Tierney coming off. We hope he's okay for the Irish on Saturday and the return with the Ukrainians next week. At least he's walking off. And he's replaced by Celtic's Greg Taylor. He'll earn his 8th cap for his country. A man Steve Clarke came to rely on in his Kilmarnock days. It's Greg Taylor, first choice left back at Celtic Park. 5 minutes, less than that now, 4.5 of the 90 left, and Scotland have an attacking free kick here from McGinn to put it in on top of a beleaguered Ukrainian defence. McGinn slips as he takes it, but then it comes and then it's flicked behind for the corner. This has been a brilliant performance.
Yeah, it's been top drawer, absolutely top drawer. I think Scotland, in terms of the game plan, Liam, in the first half, they almost felt their way into the game. They got a foothold in the match, they took care of the ball. I think they allowed every player in a Scotland jersey to build in confidence, and they did that by trusting each other, being brave in the ball, getting after it when they lost it. And they've worked tirelessly in the second half for the chances to come, and then they found that quality in the goals to finish it off.
Ryan Fraser set up the second with his last corner. In comes this one. Dykes again. He scored again. It's as easy as that sometimes. Ryan Fraser with the corner. The same result, and Lyndon Dykes bullets Scotland into a 3-goal lead. And you know what? They deserve it as well. It is Scotland 3, Ukraine 0.
They do deserve it, Liam. They absolutely do. And just looking at the smiles in the faces of those players celebrating that goal, it's a brilliant delivery again. Defensively, Ukraine are all over the place. They're not close, they're not near enough Lyndon Dykes. But what a brilliant header again. He rises tallest, he gets good contact on it, he directs it on goal. I think it actually just maybe flicks off his shoulder after the connection with his head. Ukraine are looking for a free kick. It is absolutely not a free kick. There's no foul in the penalty area, and it's a third goal for Scotland. They've been absolutely on the money, especially in this second half. And what a double change that is. Fraser and Dykes on, and 2 goals for your money.
I think the manager might be getting a little bit of praise this evening. Not even make him smile, but you know, he deserves it. Even taking away the substitutes, you know, it's been a brilliant performance. But you know, it's a simple ball. Here. It's a simple ball into the box, but it's what you make of it, isn't it? I mean, it's a good delivery, but it's not one that you really, you know, shouldn't be able to defend. But somehow Dykes gets the better of the defender. He's up there, and it's not that. He knows exactly what he's doing. Yes, it comes off his shoulder, but he knows that that's going into that back stick again.
Can they make it 3 in a row, Willie? They got another corner here, same side. Over in that
past them.
Northeast corner, Ryan Fraser waits, another in-swinging corner. In it comes, Dykes is on the move. This time the keeper punches it away to boos from the Tartan Army. Here comes Ryan Fraser getting it from Taylor. Dancing on the 18-yard box, he shoots, it's wide of the left-hand post. 2 minutes left of the 90. Scotland 3, Ukraine 0. And Scotland have missed 4 or 5 other gilt-edged opportunities. This has been a shellacking.
Yeah, and I think the positive aspect, it sends the fans away happy. Okay, missed the chances, created the chances, got
22
the 3 goals.
shots at goal, Willie.
It's incredible. It is. You know, I don't think we've witnessed a performance like this, a positive performance. But not just that, the substitutions.
Yeah.
You know, you make the positive substitutions. You don't, you know, just take it for granted that you're going to see this game out. You go right for the jugular. You want more. You've got a packed house here. You send them home wanting more. They'll be here on Saturday. They'll be looking forward to Saturday.
Saturday night under the lights against the Republic of Ireland. And a bit of revenge involved in that as well, the Scots will feel. Here come the Ukrainians. Malinovsky's lost it though, and now it's McTominay, who has been a colossus in the middle of the pitch for the Scots. Might not get too many headlines tomorrow, but you can see just what Scotland have been missing in the midfield when Scott McTominay's been playing in a back three. The Manchester United man has stood tall. They all have tonight. There's Callum McGregor, who's been his usual tireless self in the middle of the park. There's Hickey on the near side, back to Hendry. Final minute of the 90 here. Scotland 3, Ukraine 0. Night and day from June. McTominay collects, the anchor of the Scottish midfield. Out to McKenna. And Craig Gordon's hardly had anything to do tonight. McLean out to Taylor on the left. Level with the edge of the centre circle. In the Ukraine half, back to McTominay, gets it from McKenna. 3 minutes of stoppage time. We're into the first of those. It's the kind of night you could actually sit and watch this for hours.
Yeah, and I don't know how many times, Liam, I've been at Hampton to watch Scotland where the fans enjoy this whoop every time a pass.
Doesn't happen often. The Ole's.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen often.
I've got it taped in the VHS, so I'm okay. I can watch it plenty. No, but Craig Gordon, he deserves a night off, doesn't he? And he's had the night off. He hasn't had anything.
No, he's not had very little. But every player is, worked really hard in their position. Even the players that were taken off maybe before the goals came. You look at Shea Adams on the screen just now and Stuart Armstrong. Yes, they missed chances, but they were putting in the work. They were grinding Ukraine down so that then the changes came. The first goal came, and then the double change. And the quality's there. The belief was there already.
McTominay fouled in the midway point of his own half, and there's a yellow card for the offender. It was Malinovsky. This has been a perfect night's work in the end, even if they did miss those glut of chances, particularly Armstrong and Adams. Adams denied by the crossbar, and then the goalkeeper Armstrong had 3 or 4 glorious opportunities in the second half as McKenna goes back to his goalkeepers. The injury time ticks down. Soon it'll be full time, soon it'll be focus on Saturday. Try and top this Nations League group and guarantee a Euro 2024 playoff. How good would that feel, should that come to pass, before the qualifying draws made in a couple of Sundays' time in Germany, who host the tournament. McKenna finds Fraser on this near side. Now Hickey comes off the Ukrainian defender, but it breaks back Ryan Fraser's way. Then Dykes with an up and under, can't find McGinn. Pushing header back to straight to John McGinn, who slices his volley, and will be picked up by the goalkeeper on the right hand side of his box. It's about 50 seconds left. Scotland 3, Ukraine 0. It would be easy to sit down and wonder what might have been in June had they approached that game with this kind of stirring performance. But it's all about this tournament now. It's all about finishing top of this section, and that's massive for this country, Willie.
It certainly is, and the doubt is in your mind because of a couple of recent performances where, as the manager said, the team had stalled, and it makes you wonder, what happened to all these good performances that we were witnessing before that. Well, it's back. You've got to have belief. The manager's got to believe. The players definitely have got belief in abundance on the evidence of tonight, because after missing all them opportunities, to turn it round after that and score 3, quite incredible, because that belief could easily go.
I know where Willie gets his tea leaves from, because he came here, he was optimistic, he was confident that Scotland could get the job done. Well, they've got the job done big time tonight. They've given Ukraine a doing here under the lights, as Stevie Clarke shakes hands with Alexander Petrakov down below us. Quite the opposite from what we saw in the playoff semi-final in June. Scotland eventually running out resounding victors. Missed so many opportunities, you just wondered if it would be their night. Stuart Armstrong was perhaps guilty more than anyone else He passed up chance after chance after chance. Che Adams hit the bar, he saw another header just a few seconds later, saved by the feet of the goalkeeper. And then Armstrong with a header in 6 yards, which he put past. You would begin to think at that point that perhaps it just wasn't going to be their evening. But it was, because not long after that, as we went into the final 20 minutes, the man the Tartan Army calls Super John McGinn had the Midas touch once again, his 14th international goal, as he drilled it home into the bottom right corner. Before the substitutes, Fraser and Dykes came up with 2 goals replicas. A corner from the left-hand side from Ryan Fraser, curled in, found Dykes' head, and he nodded it home into the bottom right corner before they repeated the trick just 7 minutes later. Exactly the same in-swinger. Dykes met it, came off his shoulder in the end, but it found the net as well. And Scotland have ended up with a superb, convincing performance and scoreline that has put them top of Nations League B Group 1 with 2 games to play. And now they can welcome the Republic of Ireland here on Saturday with renewed vigour and confidence, after a performance that was much more like what we saw in the second half of that World Cup qualifying group. They'll do battle again with the Ukrainians in Krakow in Poland next Tuesday evening, and that could well be a big decider to see if the Scots can seal a Euro 2024 playoff berth and potentially a pot 2 seeding for the draw for the qualifying stages of that tournament. It finishes here after a memorable night under the lights at Hampton. Scotland 3, Ukraine 0.
Scotland in the UEFA Nations League.
Live on Sports Sound.